So about an hour, almost an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours, Alex6, just Alex here on YouTube, did a video where he basically, the title of the video basically was, will Austin Theory cash in Money in the Bank on Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar? And the reason Alex did this morning, and by the way, before I start, I would appreciate that during this video and its premiere, if you could support me in the super chats, in the live chat with super chats and super stickers, as well as support me over at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2, Patreon.com/BWRoses, Cash App at BWRoses98, and at TikTok at BWRoses. And also check out my Teespring store as well. But anyway, getting back on topic here, Alex did this video where he talked about, basically in his mind, the reality that indeed Theory is going to cash in on Roman and Brock at SummerSlam, more than likely at the conclusion of their last man standing match. And the reason he brings this up is because he feels that what it is just another repetitive repeat of something we've seen in the past, where basically the corporate stooge, if you will, or the corporate chosen one, becomes champion and will use his, connections within to protect himself and keep the championship with him as long as he can. Or the fact that basically, if not that, it's just a repeat of what we had seen before. Basically where someone, like a Theory, will cash in Money in the Bank, win the championship, and be all cowardly chicken shit about it, as a heel when it comes to defending it. Like if he's put into a situation, he'll just try to get out of the match by as soon as the bell rings, jumping out, walking out, and getting counted out, saying, haha, I might have lost, but I still have my title. Or if he's put into a situation to where he has to wrestle and the countouts taken away from him, he'll get himself disqualified, think, aha, I got that. He's basically pointing out that he's basically pointing out the reality that when Theory does cash in, that's the direction, one or the other, that WWE is going to be taking Austin Theory in. Whether he's going to hide behind his corporate support by Vince to, remain champion, to get what he wants, to put potential challengers through numerous obstacles, to prevent them from getting to a shot at his championship. Or if not, he's going to be the kind that's going to try to find every loophole in the book, countouts, disqualifications, what have you, to keep the title. The reason he also brought it up is because, like I said, he sees this happening at SummerSlam, potentially with a draw happening between Brock and Roman, where both of them beat each other to a pulp so badly, they both get counted down for the 10. Theory comes out and ends up pinning one of them, more than likely maybe Roman, to win the championship, if not both championships, to become undisputed champion or unified champion. Or he pins Brock, because I think this is supposed to be mainly for the Universal title or the WWE title, one of the two. I have to look that up, to where he walks out with that one of those titles instead. And in fact, let me look it up right now so I can make sure I get the card right here. It's for the Undisputed Universal Championship. So yeah, basically he'll probably pin Roman, not for the Universal Championship, but for the WWE Championship instead, because he's carrying both championships around. They do acknowledge that he has two heavyweight titles. Basically incorporate. I was reading off of Wikipedia there. I do apologize, but basically they did acknowledge he's holding two heavyweight championships. So whether or not Theory, cashes in and wins both, or he cashes in and just wins one, like they make the announcement that he's going after the WWE Championship, then fine, that's cool. Or he's going after the Universal Championship, fine, that's cool. But again, just Alex and others probably share the same opinion, feel that more than likelihood is, after a potential draw in the last man standing match, that's exactly what's going to occur. However, even though I would agree with that to an extent, I have to say that, Theory, he's going to join a very exclusive list of cash-ins. But we're not talking successful. No. You see, Alex asked for us to keep the conversation going in the comments, as well as potentially with reply videos. And Alex, my friend, I have to disagree with you. I mean, yeah, I do agree with you to an extent that there is a good chance that's, the direction that you're saying the cash-in is going to happen in will indeed happen. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening successfully. Because here's the thing. I could see Austin Theory coming down at SummerSlam, trying to cash in on Roman, trying to cash in on Brock when they're both down. And basically what's going to happen is he's going to try to pin both. He's going to try to hit his finish on both. That's not going to work. And then one, if not both of them, will get up when he gets frustrated, starts arguing with the ref, only to turn around maybe into an F5 or a spear, whatever the case may be, and he will end up losing. That's what I see happening. I don't see Theory successfully cashing in here. I see him doing exactly what Baron Corbin did, and to an extent John Cena did before. And that is basically failing to cash in successfully. Baron Corbin, you have to remember, when he won Money in the Bank, who did he try to cash in on? Who was the champion? John Cena. Did WWE see Baron Corbin at John Cena's level just yet? No. And what happened? Even though he tried cashing in, he lost. Yeah, it was off a distraction, if you will, but he lost. I think to John Cena, I believe. I think it was to John Cena, one of them. But he lost. He lost to... No, wait a minute. It wasn't John Cena, was it? Let me see here. Let's see. Jinder Mahal. Okay, it was John Cena though. Yeah, John Cena basically prevented the cash-in, I think, from happening. Let me look this up, make sure. Yeah. Basically, John Cena, it wasn't John Cena he cashed in on, it was Jinder Mahal. Now, you got to remember, WWE was pushing Jinder Mahal as a big star representing the Indian market. So basically, since they were pushing him at that time, until they felt, right for him to lose it eventually to AJ Styles, Corbin ended up going bankrupt. And here's why. Even though Baron Corbin has, basically has the size and the potential, basically almost the total package that Vince looks for in a superstar, he was not at that time at the level that they were pushing Jinder Mahal. Eventually, yeah, Jinder lost the title to AJ, but the thing is, he wasn't at that level. And if you're going to have him feud with someone like John Cena, which he did, basically, you were not going to have him cash in. And that's kind of how I see Austin Theory. I kind of see Austin Theory being put into a situation to where, yeah, he's going to tease, he's going he's gonna tease Roman. He's going to tease Brock and all that. And, he's gonna make people believe he's playing mind games, and then, he's gonna, eventually, as Alex says, probably come down during the match between Reigns and Lesnar, try to cash in when both are down, only to get foiled and have one of them, while the other is down, pin him to win. Probably more likely Roman, pin him to win and either become champion or basically cause him to go bankrupt. That's what I see happening. And that's what I see happening, essentially. Because, like I said, when you kind of compare the two situations, even though Jinder is not on the same level as he was back then to the likes of a Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns as they are now, Jinder was still being protected. He was being protected to the point that he, kept the championship via DQ over John Cena. So when you have a DQ loss or maybe some kind of, cheap way or some way of keeping the championship over the likes of a Cena, that shows, that shows everybody at the time that WWE, whether some people do agree with it or they don't, value you to an extent, especially if they're using you to target a certain international market. So to have Baron Corbin try to cash in, successfully was not in the plans. The only reason they would give it, the only reason they gave it to Baron Corbin is because, one, they wanted to continue his momentum, but show that even though his momentum was being kept, because that he had since WrestleMania that year, his momentum was being kept, that he wasn't ready yet. The time was not ready to pull the trigger. And true, they had numerous opportunities afterwards to pull the trigger, whether we liked it or we didn't. But they never did. Why? Because all he was then and all he is now is just a big old body for people like, let's say, eventually a Pat McAfee at SummerSlam to beat up on and be put over on, in a grand fashion. That's all he is. That's all Baron Corbin is. And unfortunately, as talented as Theory is, Theory falls under that same category. He may be having some great matches. He may be a former U.S. champion. Let's not forget, Baron Corbin was a former Intercontinental champion, I think, at one point. Or something like that. I think a former U.S. champ. I got to look this up. But still, he was a former champion, I believe. Again, let me look this up here. Let me look this up. Hold on for a sec. See if he had any championships here. Yeah, United States champion. He won King of the Ring. He won Money in the Bank in 2017. He won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in 2016. Like I said, he won Money in the Bank in 2017. So he had a little bit of momentum for about a little over a year. He had momentum for a little over a year. And everything. And basically, like I said, despite having that momentum going back and forth with him, for the first year he was on the main roster, they never valued him as anything more than just a big old body that they would give pushes to, semi-pushes to, with, rewards at the end, like the U.S. title or King of the Ring, or even the Money in the Bank briefcase. But they never saw him as a guy that would potentially hold the championship, because even though he has the size that Vince, likes in a superstar, he doesn't have the look. He doesn't have the total package. Austin Theory, on the other hand, has most of those traits, but he still falls in that category of, you're putting him, in a position right now to be made to look like as a fool on television. That's it. Because what are you having him do? Like I said, what are you having him do? You're having him poke the bear, basically, with Roman and Brock, to where if, and probably most definitely what Alex is predicting becomes a reality, and he comes down during a portion of that last man standing match to where it looks like he has an opportunity to cash in and win the belt successfully, if not both, you know what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is he's not going to cash in successfully. He's going to try several times. He's going to hit his finisher several times. Not going to happen. And one of them, more than likely either Brock or Roman, is going to pop up and basically spear or F5 the guy into oblivion. And that's it. And then probably take advantage of the other's distraction to win the match. Like I could see Brock popping up, grabbing Theory, and basically F5ing him into oblivion, and then Roman sneaks up from behind and spears him, or sneaks up, from behind as he's turning around after the F5 and spears Brock to win. Or I could see Roman getting up, spearing Theory, and then Brock sneaks up from behind him, hits him with an F5, and then that's it. I could see that potentially happening either one of those ways. I can see that. But I don't see Theory cashing in successfully. I see him cashing in and trying to take advantage, but I don't see it being a success. I see him being basically, I think, the third or fourth guy in the history of the men's Money in the Bank briefcase winners to not successfully cash in and go bankrupt. I see it. Because the way he's being played up on television right now is played up as a very talented fool, is what he's being played up as. A very talented fool who thinks he's going to outsmart and play mind games with the Beast Incarnate and the Tribal Chief, by poking both the grizzly bears that they are, only to have it backfire in his face at SummerSlam. That's what I see happening. Now, could I be wrong about that? Probably more than likely. But, being a longtime fan for as long as I have been, I just see it. I just see that happening. Now you might say, well, Vince is in charge of creative. He'll make sure Theory wins. Will he? Will he make sure? Or, because of what's going on, will Vince probably have to step away a few times, away from certain shows, away from WWE on occasions, to kind of, let things clear for that time. And then let's say someone like, a Triple H steps in. Who's to say someone like a Triple H won't decide, hey, Theory, can I talk to you? And he comes up and says, yeah, what's up? Well, tonight you're supposed to cash in and become champion, right? Oh, absolutely. Well, that changed of plans. And since I'm running creative tonight here at SummerSlam, change of plans. You are going to go down, you are going to cash in, but you're going to fail. And because you're basically being portrayed as a fool. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down there, you're going to cash in, but you're going to fail. And what it's going to do for you in story is it's going to be a learning experience of it's time to grow up and mature. I could see, now I'm not saying that would happen behind the scenes, but if someone like Hunter is put in charge of creative for one night, like at SummerSlam, if Vince, because it's a big event, even though he wants to be there, has to step away because of what's going on, even just for that night, I can see Paul basically saying to Austin, hey, you're going to go through, we're going to follow through on your cash in. The only difference is you're going to fail, and we're going to use that to, create you even more so into the star you're meant to be by having the storyline be, or the character storyline for you be, you're going to grow up and mature from this. Again, I'm not saying that will happen, but if, Triple H gets put in charge of creative of an event like SummerSlam, in place of Vince because of what's going on, with this whole situation with Vince and these allegations, I can see that happening. I can. But even so, but whether or not, hold on. Okay, let me get some coffee here, guys. Hold on. Okay, let me rewind. All right. Like I said, either way of how it comes about, whether Vince makes the call, whether Hunter makes the call, or whoever, I just do not see Austin Theory winning. I don't. I see him doing exactly what Alex says he's going to do. I see him cashing in, but I don't see him cashing in successfully. I don't. I see him basically joining that list of superstars that came before him and failing in cashing in. And if WWE plays the cards right, they could use this as a character, building moment for Theory outside, after it's all said and done, to where, he has to reflect on, why he didn't succeed, and then maybe realize that the reason he didn't succeed is because he acted like an idiot. He acted like a goofball, and that he needs to stop acting like so to be taken seriously. So yeah, in the end, I see Theory doing exactly what Alex said he will, but I just don't see him succeeding. I don't. I do not see him succeeding. I see him failing because let's face the facts here. Whether we like it or not, we know that Roman has pull, right? We know Brock has pull. Do you think either one of them are going to like the idea of someone like Theory pinning him? No. So they're going to have some say in what happens. And because of that, I don't think Theory's going to win. Again, I see everything playing out almost exactly to a T, like Alex said, with the exception, though, that Austin Theory is going to fail. And he's going to fail either one of the ways I mentioned. He's going to get speared by Roman, which might lead to a Brock Lesnar F5 on Roman, so Brock wins the match. Or I could see Brock F5ing him and then Roman spearing Brock to win the match. Either way, I just don't see Theory successfully cashing in and winning. I don't. But what do you guys think? Do you think Alex is right? Do you think Austin Theory will succeed in cashing in and become champ at SummerSlam? Or do you think I'm correct in what I'm assuming, that everything will play out as just Alex mentioned, but with the exception that Theory will unsuccessfully cash in? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, comment down below. Live chat during the premiere. Super chats, super stickers, hopefully, can be utilized in the live chat during the premiere. Super thanks after the premiere is done. Again, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2, Cash App at BWRoses98, Patreon.com/BWRoses, and at TikTok at BWRoses as well, and at my Teespring store for merchandise you can find there. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think, Alex is probably correct in assuming Theory's going to walk out of SummerSlam as the champ? Or do you think maybe I have a point in what I'm saying, in that everything will happen as Alex points out, but with a different outcome, and that being Theory being unsuccessful? What are your thoughts? Again, let me know down below and in the live chat, and I am out.